It's kind of dramatic how every day, every week, it seems like the fall just continues.
I can't help but think it's overdone. There's some really attractive growth tech stocks now.
The kind of crazy thing is, with Tesla trading around 800 now, instead of like a forward PE of like around 70, it does seem that there's a reasonable chance that those companies that have decent earnings in say the next 12 months could have a much more profound rebound. But I was trying to kind of round out my my history of Ukraine in particular. I was watching this one video of a history professor from Chicago, basically talking about how Ukraine was a poorly divided country. NATO has kind of been pushing for more and more inclusion. I think it's helpful to get a wide variety of views, because I think the truth is probably somewhere in the middle.
I listened to Putin's, hour-long speech yesterday declaring his reasons for this. I interpreted that he's trying to right wrongs from the past when the USSR broke up. She just seems very dissatisfied with the cultural shift there. He seems very paranoid about NATO. He thinks Ukraine could easily develop nuclear weapons if they wanted to again.
Getting back to maybe where we do have a little bit more subject matter expertise would be, the impact on market. My sense is markets have already kind of pre-priced in a lot of this uncertainty. I kind of get the sense that this is not going to be the type of event that leads to another, say, 30% downside risk to stocks from here.
The tail risk of this, is it going to be World War III, or is it going to be some nuclear event at some point? In those cases, the market could get cut in half overnight. As time goes on and those things don't materialize, I think that panic will subside. It's scary. It's a different media environment. Clickbait journalism is a thing.
Everybody everywhere, I think, is kind of feeling that things are bad and maybe will get worse. These time periods, I think, are when opportunities are really created.
When fear is the greatest, that's the best buying opportunity. It's hard to know where the buck stops. It feels like it's got to be close.
You're seeing massive, order of magnitude price increases on shipping over the last year or so, and that's unsustainable. But of course, that's contributing towards inflation. I do think that a lot of that's going to unwind over time, and kind of these, supply chain, the drawn out delivery times for everything, pretty much. Once that kind of normalizes, I do think it could even be a source for deflationary pressure. I think there's potentially a lot of good news, but it's going to take some time, I think, for that to work its way through the system.
Moving on, Tesla. Oh man, 806. I mean, you also have to keep in perspective, this is like $4,000 a share pre-split. I mean, Tesla has been hugely successful. Move on to Roblox quickly.
The numbers that they posted were, I think, a bit of a disappointment. We were kind of expecting there'd be a lot more of a pronounced seasonal kind of pop in bookings. But then at the same time, if you look at the January statistics that they posted, they were actually remarkably strong.
I was disappointed with the bookings number. And an optimistic view is that this is sort of the rebound from the COVID lockdown. Their 17 and over demographic is growing very strongly. And that's the demographic that's going to generate the most revenue or bookings over time. There will be a time when some of those companies will really do amazing and zip up, and we think Roblox will be one eventually.
I think you have to be a little bit careful because the VIX is still really high, so implied volatility on Leaps is really high right now. If we have a V-shaped recovery, then yeah, Leaps could be incredibly profitable. But I think it's definitely within the realm of possibility that maybe you've got 3 to 6 to even 12 months or more of kind of consolidation around these levels. Then Leaps would be worth a lot less.
If they sell full self-driving, their demand is unlimited with their current product suite, but they don't need it. They could just keep producing as many Model 3s and Ys as they can for years to come if full self-driving gets solved. The most important thing is educate them through having them decide themselves. We do have a few other side bets on some other stocks. Matt is a little more bullish on Coinbase than I am. I personally think FTX is going to eat Coinbase eventually.
All I would say is I really hope that Berlin comes online soon, and I'm really curious to see what production looks like.